Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Clark Hawkins, and we have a new friend, a new past friend, a new foe, at one point, coming back for this new Star Trek show, which in itself is a expression of the past. It's kind of hopefully a melding of both worlds.
Yes, 7 of 9 is joining the Picard cast and crew for the show Star Trek Picard. And we're going to hear talk about that a little bit today, because she looks the same, but slightly different. There's a few changes. So we're just going to discuss that and see if we can get to the bottom of a few things.
But obviously, go back to Saturday, the trailer comes out. She was definitely... No one expected it, so that was a big surprise. What was your first reaction seeing Joe Ryan in the trailer?
Damn, that's awesome. I love that they're bringing in somebody from Voyager. Because we had talked about that. It'd be cool to bring in the other from other series. I want to see somebody from DS9 too. But yeah, I was happy to see her. She still looks good, so why not? And if it's Borg centric, the story, yeah, absolutely, she is the person to talk to, considering that both her and Picard have been Borgified in the past, so they would have quite a bit in common. They've probably made a good, solid friendship over the years, or at least are aware of each other. Yeah, they're in the same circles, so to speak. So
these characters that they've introduced in all the previous shows, they've got a life of their own. They've got their own skill set. You can introduce all the new characters you want, and you know, for example, in TNG they didn't want to pay for the rights to use the Tom Paris, not Tom Paris, so they just made a new character Tom Paris, and it's like it would have been a bit more tangible if that had been Tom Paris, or if in DS9 that had been Ro Laren rather than Kieran and Reese. The original intention was to give some extra oomph to that role. Instead, they had to create new characters and build new arcs. Obviously, we got 7 years of each, so that's fine. So they could have introduced, another X-Borg or whatever, but bringing in 7 of 9 brings in all of the potential storylines and chemistries and all the Voyager crew as links, and, so much stuff there that instantly I see story, I see plot, I see development, I see other cameos, I ask how much is she going to be in it? Because as I pointed out to you, the entire primary cast, which, you always feel a bit sad at San Diego Comic-Con when it's a new project and no one knows anything about your character, and so you open up to the floor to questions, and obviously there are no questions for a character they can't even talk about. So you obviously they asked Brent and Sir Patrick and Jerry Ryan. So she wasn't in the cast individual interview pieces, whereas Brent was, implying either she was very busy or she's only in it a little bit.
I'm kind of thinking it's going to be less than we expect for sure, which is kind of sad, but it's really hard to say. Even Brent, I don't think is going to be used quite as much as people are really hoping for. But it's all dependent on story. I mean, if they can tell a good story and have her there for just 2 episodes, just to kind of get, Picard something that he needs or whatever to start this mission, or even if it's just information, I have no issues with that.
But if you recall, ages ago when I was pitching to you in the channel what a Picard would be good for me in terms of having one old cast member in each show as a focus point. So this episode we have something Borg, or we also go to the Borg person. The next episode it has a holographic issue, we go to the Doctor. Now we've got several of those people, including Jonathan Frakes. So if you need a Starfleet captain, you go to Jonathan. So if there's only 10 episodes and you've already got this many people, maybe that is actually partially the vibe, or at least half season arc or whatever. But would you be happy if he's just in that episode just to get him out of the funk? Then it's just kind of a stunt, then, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would still be happy with that. Just seeing her back is a nice, refreshing, sight for sure. Like CBS is actually like, hey, we remember this character. It's from a different show technically, but they were never on screen together, and a lot of people have been raising that point, like, oh, why would they know each other? Well, as we just pointed out earlier, they were both Borg, and they're both in Starfleet, and they would talk for sure. So I don't know what memories she has necessarily of Locutus. That's never really brought up in Voyager. So, I mean, as part of the collective, she would definitely know all about him. She would know about his assimilation and his removal from the collective.
Well, I mean, Locutus is one of the few sort of celebrities in the Borg world, and we saw that Hugh, who's also in the show, confirmed as a Borg, but an evolution of where he was. So still Borg, but was being a leader, evolution of that leader role. When Hugh saw the unassimilated Patrick Stewart as Picard, he called him Locutus, and he couldn't see past that filter. Obviously, 7 of 9 is long since past that problem, but yeah, that would have been a fun scene to have seen, 3 years before Nemesis, when Voyager actually got back, because there was time gap in between those films. So, I mean, they've been in Alpha Quadrant for like 23 years at this point, which I'll bring up now. I've got a comparison now. We'll talk about the makeup in a moment. I was very careful to pick a still of Jeri Ryan from 7 of 9 in Endgame, because that is the furthest point in her journey that we see, and then 22, 24 years later, whatever, she obviously feels much more human, much more easy spoken in this trailer. But she did in Endgame. That was a big part of the character moment, so that she's kind of almost there, and now it looks like she is there. I mean, do you have a problem with her not acting like 7 of 9? I mean, that journey. I mean, what's your thoughts on how she acted and such?
I have no problem with that at all, actually. I really like it. As I say, it's kind of like she got the stick removed from her butt, because she's not as uptight now, it seems, in the Picard. But and it's 20 years later, so a lot happens. A lot people evolve, people change, and now that she's on Earth with multiple humans around, maybe married to Chakotay, and she was taking, how to be a normal person lessons from the Doctor on Voyager, which you kind of see that evolution over the course of Voyager. So add 20 years to that, and being just inundated with humans around her constantly, she's obviously going to have some changes. So I have no issue with that. I do like the old 7 of 9, kind of the more, kind of prissy ex-Borg, but to see a new version of her is basically like a new character in an old frame, I guess. And I think that's kind of a neat aspect. I'd like to see how she's evolved and hear that story. If she was married to Chakotay and Chakotay passed away or whatever, it would be really interesting to get that journey.
I mean, this is not a sequel to TNG, but it is a continuation of the universe. It's not a direct sequel to anything. Maybe First Contact and Endgame, if you really want to go that far, if the Borg stuff is linked. But this is just time has passed on. This character is 20 years older. It doesn't need to have been, but that's enough time to have been married, have a child, change the phase of life. That child already have a. You could do what you want with that, and really, give Jeri a lot more to do. But I'd still hope that we'll see her in. I mean, she is on a ship at one point, so she's not just going to be in the chateau. So it'd be nice to see her go from her very, learned behaviour, personability with people, and then as soon as she goes to science, she kind of swaps into a science mode. Because I'm sure Starfleet would use her technique, use her knowledge, and make her one of the chief Borg experts, la la la. But I'd love to see that acting shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see if she's still in Starfleet, to be honest, because she went from the Borg collective to essentially a Starfleet collective, and then in a smaller microcosm, the Voyager collective. She's always had this collective, around her, and then she gets to Earth. So I'm wondering if she has maintained that Starfleet. Starfleet's like her new collective. She still feels like part of something, instead of maybe retiring or cutting Starfleet loose. I don't know if she would necessarily do that. So if she's still in Starfleet, is she breaking orders to go help Picard? Is her loyalty to Picard or Locutus that important that she would do that? Because she's obviously not in uniform. We know that Picard went and saw an admiral who likely declined his request, hence why he got this other crew and this other ship.
Although, to be fair, she was never actually in Starfleet. She was given a badge and she worked on Voyager. She never went through the academy. There was no actual process, so she's not in Starfleet. I'm sure she's earned enough to give her honorary rank, but when she gets in, will they say, of course we're not going to give you a rank? What? Because she's not got a rank in the show. She's just 7 of 9. She's not Commander 7 of 9, Lieutenant 7 of 9. So will she have to go through some training, whatever, in the standard stuff, or she'd excel? But will she have a rank? Will she have actually joined? Will she, or is she staying a civilian because that would give her certain freedoms? Is she? I think in Star Trek Online, this whole book, she's part of the Daystrom Institute, sciencey stuff with the Doctor. So there's very good angles you can go, and that just, is she going to be fleshed out? Are we going to see stuff and things? But I know you want to talk about the headgear, Stuart, the famous, thank God she has it. or it should just be Jerry Ryan. But what's your thoughts on it? And as you can see the comparison view.
I remember when I first saw it, I thought, "Wow, that looks actually good. It's darker. It looks different." On closer examination, it does kind of look like just a rubber piece slapped on her. It doesn't look very technical per se. I think the Voyager one did a better job of that, but
yeah,
maybe there's added effects that they haven't added. I don't know how that works, but anyway, it's obviously been upgraded over the years. It's roughly the same shape. But there are quite a few distinct differences if you look at the side-by-side comparison. And I have no issue with that. Most of her skull is basically artificial at this point. And I think that one eye that is under that piece is actually a fake eye. So, and she probably had the option to maybe have it removed or looked more normal. Like still have it there, but have it minimized. 20 years of tech, you could definitely shrink that down, I'm sure, and modify it to look more human. But the choice, like, did she make the choice that she wants to retain that? She is 7 of 9. She was Borg. So is that something she wants to hold on to? Is that, when you're looking at a still of it side by side with the Voyager one, it's kind of like, it doesn't quite look as good as the Voyager one, in my opinion.
Again, we have the conversations in our different lives, so apologies if you've watched those lives as well. But I refer to this being like the Discovery Enterprise, where you look at it from afar, and I've seen lots of people commenting saying, "Wow, it's the same." And it's like, I mean, to the non-trained eye, maybe, but if you actually have a 3D model of each licensed, and if you look at them, every single shape, every single angle, every single part of it is different. There is no identical shapes. The source is different, the weapons are different, the pylons are different, the nacelles. 100% different, and yet it feels very similar. That is a testament to the artistry going in / the attempt to make it different yet the same. Now
it almost feels like it was designed by H.R. Giger. It looks like something from the Alien franchise. It's got that shape, the color. It almost looks like a chest burster kind of feel. So it feels like more alien tech as opposed to more technical tech. I don't know. It's got an odd shape to it for sure.
It is strange because, like I said, here's a side by side, and it looks the same until you look at it, which is a problem. The Voyager one is metal, shiny, and it's cleverly painted with sort of indent and hollow areas that have black, so it kind of feels like a black and silver, and it's also more pointy. The new version, that edge part there, Voyager very distinctly angular, the new one much more circular, but I can see them saying, well, it's basically the same because it's still an indent, it's just now a circly one, there's these grooves, but it's all now organic, the bottom bit is again more organic, so every piece is there. It kind of feels as if, and this is a weird thing to say, but again, look at this. Unless they give a reason to be different, it feels as if an artist was told make the eyepiece, but he was using a this sized pixel, and didn't bother either going to CBS archive and finding the prop. Like someone was told to recreate it, but didn't actually go back to the original prop because it's clearly looking the same, but not the same. None of it is the same, and it's certainly the fact that the lacking of silver, the accenting, it does feel a lot less. It's more sleek, but it's lost all that detail. It feels less. It'd be nice to think this is just a daily. They'll do a new take. Whereas if it was just silver, it would have felt better. That would have made all the difference, honestly. But it's at least she has it. It's kind of like the Iron Man armors. He has Mark 1 up to 85. They're all similar but different, so I'm all fine with it. She doesn't need to give an explanation. It's just an odd choice to go for that. And note, she does actually have the neck piece. And I really hope she still has the hand pieces, because every piece you take off her becomes less and less 7 of 9, just becomes Jerry Ryan, the older actress. This is why people in makeup, when they put on the full thing, suddenly they become the character. Same with the uniform. You put on the uniform, well, now you're going back into that. So these are things really, really important. So I hope they're maintaining enough of it, because the Doctor's pretty damn smart, and after 7 years they didn't remove it all, and maybe things went wrong. And it's just more interesting to keep it rather than remove it. You gain more audience and story cred by having it than removing it.
Yeah. I definitely like to see the hand piece, see if it's much different, if it's colored different or whatever. That'd be interesting to see for sure. I don't have a problem with her losing the hand piece, though. I think that's something that she might actually have got rid of over the years. Because we have said, you said putting on the makeup would get you stepping back into the character. However, this is as we talked about earlier, a new Seven of Nine that is now much more relatable and approachable by the looks of it, much more human because of her 20 years of interactions with humans. So she has changed a lot as a character. So I don't have an issue with some things being different. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if she does have that handpiece for sure.
Well, the key is evolved, not different.
Yes.
You know,
okay, yeah.
think through. I mean, it's a subtle difference, but change for change's sake is not worth anything. But saying this is this, actually evolving it for a reason, and you can explain this is why the way we do things. Where Rick's done back to things under Probert. You know, if you can't explain it, just say because it's cool. It's like, well, then you're not really. You know, there's things that we see instinctively in designs, and if there's no thought there, then you can sometimes see that. A lot of the Discovery ships, certainly, there's a lack of thought in a lot of places. So I'm excited to see what the thought is, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a journey with this character, and we're going to have to wait and see how it unfolds, because it has been quite a long stretch of time. So it's going to be very cool to see how these characters have all changed over the years.
And the sky's the limit with her, really.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and join in, guys, for our live tonight, live every night, and our sub-videos looking at lots of different topics, both the concise videos and the full lives. We have great conversations with a great audience. We have over 500 people watching each live of these, which is awesome. Join in the fun, and Stuart.
So what you're saying, essentially, is join our collective Trekyards community every night. Resistance is futile. Make sure also to join that collective, to hit subscribe and get notified of all of our videos, and hit like. There's a like collective. Some people hit like on every video.
You must become one with the Trekyards.
It's true. Resistance is futile. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Commander Cockings.
He's the creepy Commander Cockings. He's got really weird over the years. I don't know. Anyway, bye, guys.